Senior GOP member of the House Oversight Committee, Tennessee Representative James Comer, and Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan are demanding D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser answer for the increased protester violence plaguing the nation's capital, specifically the angry mob that swarmed people attending President Trump's RNC nomination speech. One America's John Hines has more.
I know that you and also Congressman Jordan, who of course is a senior GOP member on the Judiciary Committee, have sent a letter to the mayor of Washington, D.C. It's regarding her handling of some of these situations where there's been some violence in the streets and some people have been compromised in these situations. What's going on, sir?
Well, we're not satisfied with the level of security in Washington, D.C., and it's not just coming from a congressional perspective. We talk to business owners, we talk to residents in Washington, D.C., and they do not feel safe. Washington, D.C. is set up differently than any other city. Obviously, it's not in the state. Ironically, the Oversight Committee has oversight jurisdiction over Washington, D.C., so we're within the right to reach out to the mayor, and we'd like to know what type of correspondence she's had. We aren't seeing any improvements with the rioting. In fact, I was at the president's speech last Thursday, as was Jim Jordan, and it was chaos getting out of there.
What other instances have you noticed where maybe the mayor was not enforcing the full use of the police presence on the streets of Washington, D.C., attempting to protect property and people?
Well, we've seen countless stories on the news and videos on the news where protesters walk right up to our national monuments and spray paint graffiti on them and try to tear our monuments down. And they're sitting there with ropes and they're pulling. And, you would think it's a third world country, but it's the United States Capitol where residents continue to riot and destroy private property, destroy government property. And it's as if the mayor has instructed the police to turn a blind eye. I don't know that that's the case, but Jim Jordan and I want to find out.
And so you've asked for communications, emails, text messages between the mayor and her, I guess, her police lieutenants. You're mentioning perhaps the involvement of third parties. Do you think perhaps that some of this rioting, some of this mayhem in the streets of Washington, D.C., do you have some reason to believe that perhaps it's being precipitated by organizations similar to this group called Antifa, something like that?
Many people are suggesting that. We don't know the answer to that, but that's in the letter that we sent her. We want to find out. Are there groups out there paying these protesters?
Not exactly related to this. I guess tangentially, though, we've got this memorandum from the president on reviewing funding to state and local government recipients that are permitting anarchy, violence, and destruction in American cities. This is a memorandum from the president. And in it, he's saying that some of these cities, he talks about Seattle, New York, Portland, I think he also mentions Washington, D.C., have contributed to the violence, the destruction of the jurisdictions by failing to enforce the law, disempowering significantly and defunding their police departments and refusing to accept offers of federal assistance. Do you think that this sort of an action is appropriate at this time, given the level of violence we've seen on the streets of some of these urban centers in the country?
Absolutely. Cities permitting anarchy should be held accountable. And that's what the president's trying to do. We have to have law and order. And I appreciate the checks and balances. I appreciate the different levels of government. But the main responsibility of the government, whether it's the local government, state government, or federal government, is to protect the people. And when you have situations in these major cities where the local government fails to protect the people, and then the governors or the state government fails to protect the people, then somebody has to step up. And unfortunately, it's Donald Trump in this situation. So we've got a problem brewing in America. I don't know what the genesis of this is. I don't know if these people are being paid to come in to try to create chaos, to lead to anarchy. I don't know what the problem is. But Jim Jordan and I are trying to find that out. Our committees are going to be working very hard on this. This is a priority issue for America. And the president showing strong leadership in this.
Congressman James Comer of Kentucky, the senior GOP member of the House Oversight Committee, which has jurisdiction over the District of Columbia. Thank you for talking to us on One America News. It's good to catch up with you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.